Hello, everyone. Welcome to Diversified, where our mission is to have you live in a life filled with wealth, health, and happiness. Today, we have a very special guest coming from Pittsburgh, PA, Christy Stuber. She's a personal and financial and professional development coach based in Pittsburgh, PA, who helps her clients stress less and live more. Thanks for joining me today, Christy.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Pleasure is mine. So tell us a bit about yourself. I know you made a transition from a career in marketing and advertising, then you got your master's in social work, and then became a professional certified coach. Tell me about
Yeah.
that, what led to it, and what it's been like.
Yeah, Andrew. So I think when you look at it in retrospect, it makes more sense than it does when you sort of say it out loud. I'm an avid reader, and really the through line between all of that is my love of stories and helping people find meaning in their own stories. So whether it was helping companies market their products or helping families as a social worker get out of chaotic situations, or even when I worked as a philanthropic advisor, helping people decide where they want to invest their financial resources in the community. It was all about meaning and purpose. And so I got my certification as a coach in anticipation of having more of those conversations. And then during the pandemic, coaching exploded and I was able to leave my philanthropic advising career and go into coaching full time.
Wow. So it all came out of the pandemic, huh?
It really did. It really did. It was a pretty cool experience to feel like I was helping during the pandemic and feeling like I was connecting with people all over the world through
Sure.
coaching during a time when so many of us were feeling more isolated and alone.
That's wild. That's great. That's great. So, okay, so let's talk about that. So, one of your specialties is dealing with stress. We know the past couple of years have been beyond stressful for all of us here. What are some of the tips for managing stress, dealing with it, getting ahead of it?
Yeah. Yeah. So the piece of advice, I don't give a lot of advice, but the piece of advice I do give to almost everybody is to breathe. Just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Even if like you and I just do it here for a second, right? Just like pause and kind of like you just feel lighter, right? You just kind of feel like more centered and kind of back at it. And when do we do that? We're usually rushing around so much. We don't get a chance to stop and breathe.
Yeah. Is there a specific focus when you breathe, you find, or just the art of slow breathing?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, how much time you have, right? So for everybody, the art of taking a slow, deep breath is possible. You can do it while you're walking into a meeting. You can do it while you're entering into a Zoom room, right? It's something really pretty easy to do. If people want to move more into mindfulness and meditation, I certainly support that. And I have my own practice that I do. But that feels intimidating to some people. And so I really like to lower the bar of entry here to say, just take a deep breath when you can
Right.
during the day.
Okay, so tell me, so you helped with the pandemic, you found your call. Tell me what that relationship with a client, patient, whatever, I don't know what the technical term is, but what does that look like? What's an engagement? So, and why does someone start to engage with Christy? What's the
Yeah.
number one reason I should seek out your services?
So people come to coaches for lots of reasons. It's usually during times of transition or times where they feel like something's kind of off. So I talk to a lot of people, a lot of people come to me for career stuff, but once we start talking, you realize things are happening in all aspects of their life. Usually patterns of behaviors that show up at work, show up at home. So stress at work might be related to stress at home. And so how can you manage it all across the board? And I think the one thing that I do really uniquely is I really focus on self-compassion. It's a to me, it's the biggest investment we can make into ourselves to work towards the goals that you talk about, health and happiness.
Right. So, what is self compassion?
Yeah. Simply put, it's being nice to ourselves. It's talking to ourselves as we would talk to someone we love. And I don't know about you, Andrew, but my voice inside my head isn't always so nice to me.
No, you should see me when I play tennis. I'm not a nice person to myself.
Yeah. What kinds of things come up for you when you're playing tennis? What do
How,
you say?
how terrible I am. How could you miss that shot? Oh, you're lazy, right? Like I
Yeah.
just beat myself up. So
Yeah.
maybe I should take a different tack and say how wonderful I am.
Well, or not even that, so there's really three components to mindful self-compassion. The first is being aware that you're doing something or you're feeling something that doesn't feel right. So in tennis, you hit the ball and you're like, crap, that didn't go where I wanted it to go. Right. So you're feeling frustrated or annoyed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The second is common humanity. So recognizing I'm having a human experience to something. I'm disappointed. I made a mistake. It didn't go as I wanted. I'm also not the only person here. Even, Serena Williams hits a bad ball every once in a while. Not that often, but every once in a while.
Right. And we're on the same plane, so I get it.
I mean, obviously, right. Yeah, of course. And then the third part is that kindness piece. So it's kind of like giving yourself a break, right? So if you had a friend that you were playing tennis with and they had a bad shot, maybe it's a loved one, what would you say to them?
Right. Right. Good job. Don't worry. The next shot's coming. Right.
Yeah.
For sure. So it sounds like the process is it's okay to recognize in whatever function you need self-compassion, recognize that something's not going the way you want, and recognize that you're not the only one that goes through this, and then treat it with kindness, as you're pointed out, which is very intuitive when you pull it apart. Right? It's hard to do, but sometimes the hardest things to do are easy. But then it's saying it's okay, right? Don't say you're the worst at this or you're terrible. It's to say how you treat a kid, right?
Absolutely. That's so well said. That's exactly right.
Oh, that's great. I like that. Well, we'll see tonight. You'll get an email later if it helps, or this is just BS. No. Okay. So self-compassion, what are the other big tenets of a coaching relationship from your perspective that you coach on?
Yeah, coaching is really about the relationship. Just even in your field, right? Like when you're working with clients, if a client comes to me and they don't trust me, or we don't click, then I'll often say to them like, hey, find someone else. It's totally fine.
Right.
Because we know that one of the biggest success signs is the relationship. If it's a caring, respectful relationship, we can do a lot of great work together. So this is the first thing I tell people when I meet with them before we even, start an engagement is like, how do you feel about this? Does this feel like something you could do? Do you feel like you can talk to me? If so, great. If not, not a problem. I can make referrals.
Totally. Okay. So help me more crystallize the engagement. So I think I'm fluttering in life or work and I need some outside coaching. Is that the initial onset that someone generally approaches you?
Yeah, exactly. So they'll come to me, we'll have a little like intro call, talk about what they're looking for. And then our first session is really an exploratory session. So it's really like, all right, Andrew, what's going on? And let's start to vision, like, what do you want things to be like? And what's getting in the way?
Right.
And then what we start to do is create plans around that, which I call them experiments. So what do you want to go try to do differently between now and the next time that we meet? And then come back and tell me how it went. And let's talk about what got in the way of you doing it. What did you learn from doing it? And we just sort of fine tune things from there. I mean, not unlike maybe a tennis coach, right?
Right. Or any coach. I mean,
anything.
Analogous to what we do. So, okay. And then how frequently, how long does an engagement or partnership work? What's that look like? Is this hey, in 3 months you graduate, or is this like a therapist that you may loosen the amount of engagement but still keep some sort of quarterly call?
Yeah. So it depends. It really depends on what the scenario is, right? If it's something more acute, then maybe we do something for 3 months. And, I have a client right now who's going through a relationship ending. And so he needs a lot of support right now. And he will peter off at some point when he gets more stable, right? Other people who are really making big life decisions, they're wanting to get back in the workforce after being out, or they're trying to figure out the next steps, they might meet more regularly for longer amounts of time, depending. Typical cadence, if I had to say, would be meeting every 2 to 3 weeks. And maybe for 6 to 9 months would be an average.
Okay. So it's real. It's you get in there and do hands-on and do a lot of touch points.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. So, okay. So let me ask you two final questions. One is, we're all about happiness here at our company. What do you find makes you happy as an individual, Christy? And what do you find you most enjoy with this line of work? And then I got a follow-up question.
Okay. So might sound a little bit woo-woo, but when I'm working with a client and I see that they're really sitting in like what's true for them, like what they're really aligned with in terms of their values and their meaning and their purpose, and I can see it, I cry with joy. It makes me so happy to see like the mask is removed and they're really just being who they are. And so I think about my own life, like and maybe you can think about yours, like when are those experiences when you feel fully yourself, right? Like I remember being in the pool with my niece recently and just giggling and laughing and like doing flips and playing. And I was like, yeah, this fills me with joy. This is truly me coming out.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. It's because you're not making bad tennis shots. But anyways, okay. So I ask everyone I've ever interviewed this same question, which is, I'm going to leave it with how people can get in touch with you, how they can engage, how they can follow you, and all that stuff. So tell me, if you're going to leave everyone that's watching this, listening, however they're absorbing this information, one piece of information, one last thing you want to leave with as your most important tip, quick tip for them, what would it be?
Okay, so besides taking a deep breath, what's coming to mind, and I think it's because you mentioned I'm in Pittsburgh, and so we all know one of the most famous Pittsburghers is Mr. Rogers, right? Many of us grew up with him, or we have children who grew up with Daniel Tiger.
Oh yeah.
I want people to remember that they are loved for exactly who they are.
That's awesome.
That's self-compassion.
Yeah. So that comes back to your overarching theme, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So this is fantastic. I think people can really benefit from this, just watching this and engaging with you professionally, and that people in need, that whether it's now or at some point in their life. So tell me how we can get your message out, how people can contact you, follow you. Do you put out stuff regularly on social that they can start to engage from the outside? Just share all your stuff, so we'll share it as well. But why don't you say it here for everyone, your best means of communication and connection?
Yeah, so a great starting point would be my website, which is simply my name, ChristyStuber.com. And on there, you can sign up for my newsletter that comes out every other week or so, that really talks a lot more about self-compassion. And then I also offer as a free service of, love and compassion to the community, a mindful gathering on Monday nights by Zoom. So totally free, 7:00 Eastern time, Monday nights. People come in, we do some mindfulness, we have some chatting about what's going on, 45 minutes. And it's just a really lovely community full of kindness and support. So I welcome people to come join me there as well. And then Instagram, I'm on Christy.Stuber. Yeah.
And they can connect on your website. They can connect on all that information on Christy.
All the information is there. Yeah. So just go to the mindful gatherings on my website, send me an email, and I'll get you all the information.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good. So we're going to get this out. Everyone watching this, please share, please reach out if you think Christy can help you out. She comes very highly regarded and recommended in the space, and I think by hearing her talk, you can see why. So thanks for joining us. And to everyone watching, again, Christy Stuber, ChristystYSTUBER.com. Best way to get her, or at Instagram at the same handle. I'm Andrew Rosen, President of Diversified. As always, stay wealthy, stay healthy, and stay happy. Take care, everyone.